The second episode of Ms. Marvel is every bit as amusing as the first, although maybe having a somewhat smaller number of nods to other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies and characters. However, there is still a very large number of them, and we are doing all in our power to explain each one to you in detail. Watch till the end for all the references and Easter eggs. First up, Ant-Man made some surprise appearances. Kamala puts herself through a barrage of Ant-Man related experiments, including shrinking, flying, and communicating with ants, but none of them are successful. She also listens to his podcast, in which his name has been mentioned more frequently than that of any other hero outside Captain Marvel. In the comics, one of Kamala's all-time favorite characters is everyone's favorite grumpy X-Man, and he makes an unexpected visit early on to assist Kamala in a difficult situation. He unwillingly comes to like her despite the fact that he has to put up with her never-ending excitement and even manages to teach her a few things. Despite the fact that the MCU Ant-Man would bring a completely different mood to the table than Logan, she appears to have a particularly strong connection to him, second only to Captain Marvel, of course. Hugh Jackman will probably not make an appearance on the show due to the uncertain future of the X-Men following Disney's acquisition of Fox, although Paul Rudd may have taped a cameo for the show. Next, we have the comic references to Kamala's powers. In addition to investigating whether or not she possesses Ant-Man powers, Kamala talks with Bruno about the possibility that she is an Asgardian and is linked to Thor. At the Eid celebration, we overhear a member of the audience referring to Kamala as Nightlight, a nickname that Zoe has given her. It appears that other people naming her, dressing up as Captain Marvel, and searching for the source of her powers among all these white heroes are all working together to serve the theme in the comics of Kamala, thinking that in order to be a hero, she had to literally become a white woman. Eventually, she comes to the realization that the best hero she can be is herself, in her own skin and dressed in a way that is comfortable for her. Now for the history of the Inhumans and where Kamala came from. The way in which Kamala's great-grandmother Aisha's bracelet enabled her to access her superhuman abilities is analogous to the Terrigen notion from the comics. An external force enabled her to access something that was already within her and was innate to her. It is more evidence that she inherited this skill from her forefathers and that others of her people have also been known to possess extraordinary abilities in the past. Next up, Kingo and his eternal companions. The two friends, Cameron and Kamala, have a moment where they bond through various pop culture references they both know and love, such as Sweatshop Boys, Bazagar, SRK, DDLJ, and Kingo. The initials SRK refer to actor Shah Rukh Khan, but more specifically, the statement, "Don't tell me you have a major crush on Kingo too," alludes to the character played by Kumail Nanjiani in the show Eternals. Kingo is a member of the team who has spent a significant portion of his eternal existence as a superstar. So who are Bill and Ted? It's presumably for brand reasons that Bruno's convenience shop is called a Circle Q rather than a Circle K, but I'm seeing this as a reference to Bill and Ted regardless of the reason why. In this production, Kamala and the people she hangs out with are the weird things that will be happening at the Circle Q. And now we have the album of soundtracks. Goddess by Cruella and Nervo, featuring Raja Kumari, is the banger that plays during the training montage. Cruella is now comprised of Raja Kumari, an Indian-American rapper, and Jahan and Yasmin Yusuf, both of whom are Pakistani-American and who create electronic dance music. In case you didn't catch all of them, the lyrics are smoking hot. Brandon B. Mike Adams is the artist behind the painting that can be seen in a portion of the training montage. He is a black artist and activist who makes daring work at the crossroads of art and resistance. His base of operations is in New Orleans. Check out more of his work on his IG page. Next, there are references to teen comedies everywhere. Here are some. Ms. Marvel has several allusions to previous works dealing with the coming-of-age genre. When Kamala is dancing across the stage and her inner world, Be My Baby by the Ronettes being played feels like an intended homage to the way the song starts over Baby's internal monologue. An extremely political film, Dirty Dancing tells the story of a young lady lady who finds herself torn between doing the right thing and meeting the expectations of her family, while at the same time attempting to forge her own identity apart from her family. Does this ring a bell? The image of Kamala and Cameron sneaking up on you from behind the menus is both adorable and instantly recognizable. It is taken from the scene in Grease where Sandy and Danny are on a date and are trying to hide from the group. But for some reason, it also makes me think of the movie 16 Candles. When Bruno wears the red vest and the shirt with a bluish tint to it, he looks just like Marty McFly. The tour of the Eid celebration is similar to the cafeteria clique tour in Mean Girls, although it is more creative and contains less racial overtones. Illuminantes? The desires of Tiny Faye. There's so much more when it comes to Easter eggs. Wait till the end of the video. We also have the inclusivity and pop culture references. In this episode, we witness what appears to be a femme queer couple, as well as a toddler with a pink undercut and a sign advertising GBT homecoming. The combination of this and the event known as Asgard Pride provides a clear message that Kamala's school and Miss Marvel in general are welcoming environments for anyone who identifies LGBTQ, or at the very least, one in which we are present. A little aside, do we get our own homecoming? Is this a thing for gay and lesbian teenagers? Are we actually moving forward with the term GBT at this point? The artwork for the Miss Marvel title appears to be different each time, and it may contain a number of pop culture references. However, it appears that most of these references are imitations or close to the original versions of the originals. Some examples of this include a New Jersey license plate, some 8-bit style art that could be an homage to the original Mario Bros. Game, Saved by the Bell, Islamic art and emojis, and even one that makes fun of her performance on Her. There are a lot of references to outer space throughout the logo as well. However, it's possible that this is merely a homage to the way she decorated her bedroom. Next, there was a throwback to the comics and video games. The scene from the party in which Kamala is asked by a jock clown who gives her a drink if it contains alcohol. This exchange between them, in which he lies about it, is taken from the very first issue of Miss Marvel. The comic book version of this event takes place at the same party, where Kamala first became aware of her abilities. However, the television adaptation moves it to the more exciting AvengerCon convention. Sana is Kamala's grandmother's name, and it is likely chosen in honor of Miss Marvel EP Sana Amanat, who is a Pakistani-American Muslim and one of the people responsible for creating the character. Cameron inquires of Kamala, "Who was the driving instructor for you? Bowser? I'd like to call attention to Mario Kart and the player who is the best option if you want to win a competition despite having no skill whatsoever. Yoshi is king around these parts for life." It's cute to see Kamala strike a heroic position when she saves the kid at Eid, when she's not worrying me out for what turns out to be a good reason. But after seeing Yelena Belova, I can't look at anybody else strike a heroic pose without thinking of her. Finally, we had some more comic book references and Easter eggs. Someone takes Nakia's incredible kicks without her permission. It would seem that they are Versace. Her alias from the comics, Nox, is where she got her moniker. In general, Nakia's sense of style is really impressive. According to Kamala, she is unable to determine if the lettering on the bracelet is in Arabic or Urdu. The two make use of alphabets that are quite comparable to one another, and with a few exceptions, are virtually identical. They can also be written in highly stylized calligraphy that can be very difficult to read if you aren't used to it. Additionally, you might not necessarily have a lot of practice reading and writing them if you are primarily used to speaking them or saying certain phrases or prayers. This is because highly stylized calligraphy can be very difficult to read if you aren't used to it. Given the presence of Agent Cleary, it would appear that these sinister surveillance drones are issued by the government. Nevertheless, the inventor, main antagonist of the comic book, frequently used something quite similar. The wicked genius, who was half cockatiel, developed his own technologically superior minions to serve him. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.